You have participated in some of the Rise of the Kings meetings, and basically Rise of the Kings were a support group for Black men where we just really break down the issues that go on in the Black community so that we can raise more awareness and raise more of the confidence and the morality of Black men. What made you join that group?
Um, I needed an outlet at the time. I needed an outlet. Um, COVID changed everything. There was another support group that I was going to in person, and like I said, COVID shut all of that down. So excuse me, when the opportunity presented itself to join you guys, I hesitated for a bit, but it came at a time. It came at a time when I needed it. It came at a time when I needed it. I think it was earlier in the year. It was before it was before the summer, and I had just come off of a mental breakdown, and I was trying to find myself. I'm trying to figure out where I was going, and I took a step back from social media, and I spent a lot of time. I would get off of work, and I just spent a lot of time with myself, and maybe like a couple of Zodiac apps and stuff like that, just to try to find a not necessarily a deeper purpose, but a better understanding of me and how things were going. And like I said, once the opportunity presented itself to join you guys on these calls, it felt like I hesitated for a bit because I'm an overthinker. But then once I got on, man, in that first call, everything just made sense. And it should just threw the chips up, and the chips fell exactly where the chips were supposed to fall. So it's been a pleasure being on the few calls that I've been on. It's been a pleasure being on these calls. It is freeing, it's thought provoking, and it's challenging. But it's exactly what I feel like. It's exactly what I feel as though we need. So we, me, and all the guys that are on the call and participate whenever they participate. So I feel like it's a good thing. It really, man, I'm super appreciative for that space.
Why do you think more Black men need that space? Or what would you tell, you met a Black man on the street and he was opening up to you? Because for some reason, I can tell you this, I feel like you're the type of dude that a motherfucker will open up to who don't know you. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
What would you tell them, even if it was like a homeboy or somebody you don't know? Why is this group important for Black men?
It's important, though, because in general, Black men do not do therapy. We don't have these in-depth conversations. I literally just told somebody the other day, shooters hurt people. Shooters are hurt and they have no outlet. So shooters hurt other people. Everybody can't be a shooter. Somebody gonna end up on the other side of the gun. Before you become a shooter, you need somebody to talk to, and you need to talk with you first have to be honest with yourself and be open with yourself. And you have to come and have these conversations when you're not inebriated. So no weed, no pills, no drink, no nothing. Start off having it sober, or it get to a point to where you can or want to have the conversation sober. And then if those other things need to get introduced, which will help you open up and open to a place of progression and not regression after you open up, then that's even better. Because I mean, once that door is open, you got two choices. You either step out the door or you come back inside and then you close it. But a lot of times I feel as though a lot of Black men don't even allow themselves the opportunity to have that door be open, because they're just standing behind that bitch like, if it happened, it happened. Whatever it is, whatever it is. I don't want to do whatever. But yeah, dog, before you become a shooter, before you get angry, before you blow some shit up, have that conversation. Actually talk about it and don't have people that don't really have your best interest hype you up and so that you can go do something stupid, and they end up with a loss of life somewhere.
Because most of them just want you to end up in jail anyway.
Exactly.
It's all self-sabotage. It's all self-sabotage.
All self-sabotage.
So basically what I heard in that is like you basically gotta deal with it. I think every man in our group has come to the understanding that we have to deal with our circumstance at this point.
Yep.
One second.
Yep. That's exactly what it is.
So I'm trying to make sure my daughter don't come in here.
But yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like
we got to deal with it.
In the few sessions that I've been a part of, we've all of us have brought something to the table, and super huge shout out to Cashapp. He has made us deal with whatever it was that we put up.
Yep.
I got this issue. Deal with it, brother. You know what I'm saying? However he will make us, get to that point of dealing with it. Man, I got this.
And we have all had shit that we've expressed in the meetings that's been like I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm like, damn, we got that deep.
Bruh, whatever, it was one of them phone calls where it was nobody else was on the call, felt like, and it was me and TJ. Damn, how do we, when the smoke cleared, when all the smoke cleared, everybody was like, yo, how do we get here? Like, what is this new building? Who is driving?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to get out now? Is the drive over? What's good?
But you know what was crazy is I got the feedback from that session. I know exactly the one you're talking about because I don't think I was there. But I remember,
might have been like driving something.
Yeah, I was in Dallas. I was driving to Dallas because I had a speaking engagement, and I got messages, and everybody was like, "Man, Wes gave so much to the conversation. Wes gave so much to the like." They were giving all these good ass, feedback for what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, even though we feel like this shit's getting really deep, it's like somebody needed to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because whatever it was at the time that TJ was wrestling with, I know that, and I'm I just started getting goosebumps, and my eyes might start to get a little watery because I'm remembering the passion in the speech, and yeah, man, that was a heavy session. That was a heavy session, and everything that I was saying at the time was for both TJ and myself. Like I said, I remember one piece of that when I said, yo, TJ, listen, nobody else is around, bro. And it's just me and you right now. And I talked to that man like I have never talked to any other man ever.
Mm-hmm.
And got whatever whatever was happening to me at that time or had led up to me wanting to get all of this information out. It happened at the time it was supposed to happen, and I'm glad the universe made it happen that way. Because who knows? It may never have happened, or it may have happened way later. Who knows?
Well, I say all the time, man, like it's just having that support system. You know what I mean? Like it's just some real ass dudes who just like are doing the same thing that I'm doing, but we can just like, man, like for a second, we can like, we don't have to have the bravado. We don't have to have the bullshit that we normally have. It's just like, man, tell how you fucking feeling. You know what I mean? Like I literally look forward to these meetings because these are the moments I can let everything down. Like I'm lucky that I have a wife that I can talk to about anything, but also, just like I know, you can't talk to your wife about everything.
About everything. Yeah.
You can't. Yeah. There's some things that only like the brothers got to sit back and just, because I ain't gonna lie. I had a couple moments where I'm sitting there like, look, shorty down the street trying to fuck. I ain't trying to be that dude no more. I'm trying to be just about my wife. And I call the fellas in the group and I'm like, bruh, talk me off this ledge because I'm not trying to do that. I don't want to do it.
Yo, and it's only you can only have that conversation with, you know what I'm saying? If you bring that up to the wife.
Oh.
We going 85 south, cuz it's over.
It's
we
over.
out of here.
We on a whole different plateau. We
right.
You got to call the fellas. You have to call the fellas about that.
And it could, yeah, bro. And it could be like, you know what I'm saying? You could be bringing it to her and it's like, listen, I'm bringing it to you so that you can be knowledgeable of it. In my mind, that's rational. But it's not in theirs.
You done fucked up you fucked up everything when you did that. Look, the day was good.
I just wanted to let you know. I just wanted you to know.
You need the homies. You need the homies for that, man. You cannot bring you like, and I've learned that because I've done that a couple times where I'm just like, hey, look, this what's going on. She talking whoop, wham, and bam. And he's like, bruh, sit your ass down. Even TJ, I called TJ. TJ was like, sit your ass down. You're not even gonna have fun if you do it. So just sit your ass down.
Yeah. The whole time it's gonna be, don't do it. Get you some brown, sit that ass down. You know what I mean?
Right. Look, sit back, get you some drink, smoke some, chill out. But it feels good having that community, you know what I mean? Like that community is just so dope. Just because it's like, honestly, I didn't grow up with a father, right? Like my father was murdered when I was 3. So having this group of black men who are just so fucking vulnerable and so honest, it's just like, it's amazing, bro. Like, again, me and you have literally never met face to face and never shook hands, but you are like a brother to this day. But you are like a brother to me. Like when they said Wes was there, I was like, fuck, I'm mad I wasn't there. Because I love your anecdotes, by the
way. Appreciate it.
We're gonna get into those. We're gonna get into all of that.
So you didn't have a relationship with your father because your father was murdered.
Right.
My dad doesn't like to talk. Like, I don't have in-depth conversations with my dad. Like, I know who he is. I can reach out. He calls me all the time. But we have surface level conversations. How was your day? What you been up to? Nothing. I missed my son and I was calling to see how you're doing. Like, we just talked 2 days ago. Like, I don't know how much more checking in you really want to do when nothing's really going on, but I appreciate it because it really hasn't happened. And it's all surface level. How your mama? How your daughter? How's her mama? How's this? When was the last time you talked to so-and-so? We rarely move below anything surface level. And then there are times when where he might mention something that happened at his house, but then it's, all right, so between me and you, I never said anything. But I'm like, well, I mean, that wasn't deep. That was still, we never went to, we had one in-depth conversation recently. I'm gonna just say recently, although it was maybe a month or so ago. But I'm gonna go ahead and thank quarantine for this one. But we had one in-depth conversation, and in that moment we were like, all right, I appreciate this. This is nice because we don't do this. I'm 38. We've never had sit down in-depth, either in person or over the phone type of conversations. Like my dad knows that my house is open if he ever wants to come and shoot the shit. He never comes to shoot the shit. When I go by his house, he has a honey-do list, a daddy-do list, a pawpaw-do list, a grandpa-do list, because he always had shit to do. So there was never, hey, let's sit down and discuss some shit. Or I go over there and it's a shindig, a little house get together that they put together. And now I'm saying now we can't talk because you gotta entertain. Now you gotta host. So this group fills that void for both you and I. Excuse me. I only have I have a childhood best friend, but me and him we really don't get down to the nit and the grit. We kind of keep it a little below surface level.
Yeah.
But I might have 2 homeboys and 1 homegirl that I could really get in depth with, and a cousin that I could really be like, hey, do you have the time for me to vent? Because I really need to fucking vent right now. That's
Yeah.
4 people, maybe.
The vent is so important, man. Like I'm so lucky, man. I'm so lucky because like, I've said this already today, but like my wife allows me the space to vent, but I have to be very understanding of that and understand that like I can't give her everything. So
Right.
I need my fellas. And
Mm-hmm.
what's funny is I realized this is like there was one time when we just had our baby and my wife's mom said, "You need you a network of men." And I was so mad at her for saying this. I was so mad because I'm like, I got my wife. What you mean? Boo, boo, boo,
Right.
boo. But then like it hit me. I'm like, you right. You right. You can't. And I actually had, I've was like 2 weeks ago. I said to her, I said, I know I was very defiant when you said this to me, but you were so right.
Mm-hmm.
And I've started this network of men.
Word. Word.
But it
That's
was
what's up.
hard to hear at first because I'm like, well, I married this really beautiful woman. I married this woman who can talk to me. We can talk to each other. We give all this.
Uh-huh.
I didn't understand at the time, like you really can't talk to your wife about everything. Some
Right.
healing you have to get outside of that. And
Yeah.
you got to talk to your
Yeah.
fellas.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never been married. I'm currently single and not dating, although I've had a really wild week that we may or may not get into. Um,
I want to hear about it.
um, but even in that, like even in my last 2 relationships, my last relationship was with my daughter's mom, and I didn't physically step outside of the relationship. I emotionally stepped outside of that relationship because I found my 6th grade crush on Facebook, and then that became my fucking best friend for a couple of months. Hey, I ain't seen you in damn near 20 years. What's happening? I'm gonna talk to you all the time. If I'm not with my girl, I'm on the phone with you. I'm supposed to be working. Fuck it. Hey, you
You out there
free? What's happening?
cupcaking. You
What you doing?
cupcaking.
Hard, dog. Hard. Let me tell you about everything that's going on in my life and shit that I can't tell her.
Oh,
You dig? And if I wasn't talking to old girl, I was talking to my cousin. So it was, you know what I'm saying? It was small. And so even now, man, I hop on the calls when I don't know, it's random because I'm not on every call.
mhm.
And sometimes I do feel like I'm missing out. And maybe I think it is also a commitment thing with me because it's really hard for me to commit to certain things. But the call that I am on, I leave enlightened, refreshed,
Yeah.
um, poured into. Even if I pour out, I still get poured into. Um, I don't know if my cup is completely filled, but I get poured into. So I'm always leaving with something.
Well,
But I am just as appreciative.
it's meant to be a self-serving type
Yeah,
of thing. Like
that's
you don't need to
yeah,
come you don't need to come every week if that's not what's on your heart. You know what I mean?